All right, we are on, Susan.
Well, it's about time, honey.
It's about time. It's been really, really funny with all the problems, technical problems.
Yeah,
Okay, it's Mercury retrograde. Who knows what's going on?
I
But I'm so
I'm
I'm
just please let this go through because there's so much energy coming through today.
yes.
And yesterday it wasn't like that.
Mm,
After I had my little snooze, because after the video I saw, I told you it went very deep.
yeah.
And they were talking about off-planet things, and I'm like, okay, not a lot of people are doing that. So it was hitting me on many levels.
Yeah.
And I have seen things in my life where I'm very open to that, but I don't talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
But
Let
after,
me introduce you. Yeah, let
yes,
me introduce you first.
okay,
It's so easy for us because we just go on and go on because we have
yeah,
so many things to talk about and so many things in common. I just wanted to say welcome to Ljósvarpið. Ljósvarpið means shedding light onto something.
beautiful.
Yeah, and we have a television called Sjónvarpið, Sjónvarp, which means visual. And then we have a radio called Útvarp, which is broadcasting, really.
Yes.
So Ljósvarpið. Anyway, just welcome to you, Susan. Just want to tell just a little thing, background information. I met you on the island Møn in Denmark.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 10 years back or so. And I was very, very much drawn to you. I had heard about this mystery woman, like a magical sorceress, not crazy, but open woman. And I was so excited to meet you. And then we did our little meditation circle.
Yeah.
And then you said to me something that I never forget. Sola, isn't it time that you take the last part of your Reiki?
Yeah.
Because I had the first and the second degree and was initiated, and you offered me the Master Reiki course. And I will never forget that that weekend at your home, full of crystals and magic and beauty. And
Yeah.
I was really, really so grateful to you. And so you are from the US, and
I was born in Canada.
you were born in Canada. I didn't know this.
Toronto, Canada. Toronto. Yes.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Okay, why don't you just tell me about your story, where you're born, where you're raised, and how you got to Denmark, and so on.
All right, here we go. I'll do it short and sweet because, I was born in Toronto, Canada, June 19th, 1955. Mm-hmm. And I was only there for maybe a half a year. Growing up in my grandmother's house, and there was a lot of Danish people coming, and I'm of Danish descent. Oh. And yes, and I don't tell people that because they expect me to speak perfect Danish and write perfect, and I don't. But I'm not perfect. So my expectations, I don't tell them. Both of my parents are Danish. My father, he sort of comes from a background where his mother looks very, very, very Spanish. And there's a story about that. And so we do have Spanish blood, and I have blood from Lapland, and I'm sort of hot and cold and everything in between. But my parents moved to Ohio, and I have great friends there still, and my family, my brothers live there. I have a mother living in Florida who is still with us, and she's 92, still going strong. And my parents said, well, they're going to Europe for the summer, and I had to go, and my little brother was there with us. I did not want to go. I was really upset. I wanted to spend the summer with, the concerts and my boyfriend and, and my parents said, no, it'll be a once in a lifetime chance. And it changed the course of my life because I met someone and we wrote for a year. I went home and broke up with my boyfriend. And until the day he died, we were best friends. So he was a big part of my life, all through my life. Robin Jones, he's a wonderful man. So I came to Denmark a year later. And yes, when I was, it was 3 days from my 18th birthday. And I can't believe that now. When I see people that are 18, I think, how could I have done that? But I did.
No.
All right. So I came to Denmark and stayed. I took a motorcycle tour across Europe the first summer I was here, and I've done that twice. I loved that. But my mother-in-law, or the woman who would have been my mother-in-law, she passed away after a year and a half, and I was moved down to this island to be there to help with her care and running the house as a 19-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. So that sort of toughens you up a little bit, so life has given me all kinds of things that I learned a lot from, and it hasn't been easy, but I don't think we're given more than we're meant to, and we become stronger and wiser from it.
Yes.
So I'm going to fast forward to, I'm still on this island, and I work in a school, and then I became a kindergarten teacher. In the course of all this, I have children, and 2 of my boys are handicapped. One is severely handicapped, and we never found out why. But I learned a lot about brain damage and how to help, and it taught me a lot of patience. I'm a Gemini, not much patience there, but I had to learn that. I lost one of my boys, and I'm not saying it's a blessing, but it was a relief, for his body was in pain. And it was very hard for me to train with one son when I in the meantime, I had gotten divorced. So I was on my own for many years and was training my son, Karsten, with an English program, which worked extremely well. And I still train him today. When he's here, we do exercises and, and he's 35. And a few weeks ago, he started to say some words.
Oh, wow. His first words after all these years.
He's only said yes and no. And all of a sudden, he told me to shut up. I was here with some friends and we were laughing, and he was watching a movie, and he said, he said it in Danish. He said, "Hold kæft." And it was very deep and it was very loud.
Wow.
And we were looking at each other, and they said, if you had told us this, we would have a hard time believing you.
Yeah.
So then he's been saying other words, and he's in his room at night, and he's sort of like, sort of like a very high, delicate singing. And it's triggered me to remembering when I was 2 years old, my mother said when she put me to bed, I would talk to someone in my bunk. We lived in a house trailer, saving for a house. And my father got home around 12 o'clock. He was on the night shift. And she said, I'd be awake till he came home, talking to whoever it was in some strange language.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And she only told me this maybe a year ago. And it just triggered so many memories, like of when I walk in the woods and I saw things that maybe were there for me, but not maybe for everybody. So I was quite open as a young child, and I had a really good imagination,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
still do. So
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that is like something I'm so grateful for.
Mhm.
So with having children like I had, I went to England to learn a program, and I met all kinds of interesting people. And along the line, I always could do some healing with animals. I seem to connect very well with animals. And if they weren't feeling well, it's like they told me what to do.
Mhm.
So I started healing on my son, and I started healing on myself, my inner child. And I met the right people at the right time. And I went to some courses, and then I read some books, and then I just met people that had amazing lives and shared it with me.
Mhm.
At the same time, I was hearing things and feeling like I was being activated. At the time, I didn't know what it was,
Mhm.
but I have felt like there were beings around me. I also know I have some ancestral beings that have been visiting me. So one thing led to another. I took Reiki, I was doing crystals, and the Reiki led to other courses. And we have the whole shelf of books and our
Yeah.
certificate. But the most important thing is what you are and what you are doing in your life.
Yeah.
My experiences when I have a client, and they often become friends. I mean,
Why not?
yeah. And
Mhm.
because I can feel, oh, there's something in your childhood we have to look at, because might have gone through something like that. And if someone's lost a child, I've lost a child, I can feel right away that they have not dealt maybe with the sorrow of that.
Mhm.
And knowing that my son is with me uh, in special occasions, especially.
Yeah.
And my son Carson, who is basically nonverbal, I can tell when he's smiling in a special way. I said, "Oh, your brother's here right now, isn't he?" He said, "Yeah." He sees him very.
Mhm.
I can see he can see him very clearly.
Mhm.
And my sight is fairly good, but my son's is much better.
Mhm.
Is much better. I have what they call the knowing. I just know things.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers 9/11, where they were. I came home for some reason, the kids weren't here, turned on a very small television I had, and was watching this weirdest movie on TV. I said, that's really a bad movie. That's got to be a D movie. That's really horrible. That's really bad.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I saw like something on the bottom of the TV, and it said CIA. As plain as day, I could see that with my physical eyes.
Okay.
So when all this was said and done, I knew there was something up.
Mhm.
Then the conspiracy theories started coming out, and I said, no, I certainly think that there's more to this. Someday the truth will come out.
Mhm.
Now, a few
Do
years
you,
ago,
mhm.
I just wanted to tell you this before I forget. A few
Yeah.
years ago, a non-physical woman was standing in my living room.
Mm.
Blonde hair about this long, had a very nice business-like suit on, but she was feminine, yet she was assertive and a businesswoman.
Mhm.
And she told me I had to go to ground zero and work on the energy there. Now, before all of this, I've been working with energies a lot, the ley lines, I've been working with portals, I've been working with crystal energies, I've been working with angel energies, and beings I've channeled where I'm not quite sure where they're from because they're way far away anyway,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
But I did go to New York and stayed on Long Island with someone I met in Florida that had invited me.
Mm.
I did some Reiki courses there, and I did some readings. But the most important thing was going to ground zero. And I thought it was like a cleansing. And so I started to sort of just work on the energies. And the day before I went, I was introduced to a young woman who was going to have a reading. And for some reason, we're talking about ground zero. And I tell her about the woman that was standing in my living room. And she's looking at me like, wait a minute. One of my best friends, his cousin died in the towers. And he posts her picture every year. And I had arrived in New York on 9/11. So that picture was still on his Facebook page. So we go and look on his page. And that's the woman that was in my room. Her name was Joanna. And I don't remember her last name. I just know her name was Joanna.
Wow.
And that was my confirmation. And there's a lot of names at ground zero that are memorized, and we put our flowers. And right before we went, I did a sound clearing and Amazing Grace. And I do what I'm told to do, So.
Yeah.
One of the last names we came to was hers. And I thanked her for bringing me there. And I was told they work as a collective, and they were working on something very, very big at this time. They were working on something global and beyond as a collective. So then comes 2020, and now I know what they were working on. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that but just hearing you expressing your upbringing and your sensitive nature and your strong intuition and a strong connection to your inner knowing that you have kept all these years and been open. And for you, what's happening out there today, or let's say what happened last year in 2020, the 2020 vision, for you, it was actually just a confirmation. It's something that you already knew.
Yeah.
Because you are so connected to your inner knowing. So that apparently the programming that has been running for ages in our societies has somehow not had such an effect on you.
Like I said, everything I've lived through, like what does not kill you only makes you stronger. And I've been through some things also as a very young child that was horrific. And I thought, well, I went through that because every time I go through something, it made me stronger.
Yeah.
But I'm so blessed that it didn't break my optimism.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like I was writing a book, and I remember I said something like I would look through the world through tears, but the tears would be made into prisms of roses. And yeah, that sort of boils it down,
Yeah.
And I also told you on another chat we had that I'd heard this horrible scene from one of these videos that you're not supposed to see if you're sensitive. And I caught a few seconds of it. And now this is a message for the people out there that might be hearing some really horrible things, and they might get a little or a lot distressed over it. I was distressed for 3 days. And I'm telling you, it wasn't very many seconds I heard this little clip. But driving home, I was looking in the skies and I saw a cloud that looked like a small child around the age of the voice I was hearing. And the child said to me, "I don't desire revenge. My only desire is that you and others live their lives as happily and playfully and joyfully as they can.
Mm-hmm.
So this is sort of what we're going to come into now. We're going to go into a period of shock, I think, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they say even us that know a little bit will probably get sort of like taken aback and like, whoa.
Even
But
more shocks.
Yes, we're here to hold the light, and we're here to remember that this is the dawning. This is the new beginning. And we have to go through this shock sort of to wake everybody up as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I and many, many others, we're here to heal, to be supportive, to use our talents, sound, art, all the things, healing talents that we have,
Yeah.
and share them with the world. And that will help.
Absolutely.
That helped me, this child telling me, please be happy. So when I'm watching a video that I'm thinking, oh my God, how can you not be in a bad mood after that? You know, how can you not be depressed?
Yeah.
I remember those words. You know, love
Absolutely.
and happiness is where we're supposed to be very shortly.
Yeah.
So
I also feel it's also part of my life is like when you're explaining, you have gone through a lot of atrocities and experienced on a very deep level all kinds of things. And I feel, looking back, actually very grateful for the experience that I've had, because it has prepared me for what is coming now.
exactly.
That we can contain this
Yeah.
evil that is coming out and is so hard for so many people to face, because of course we believe that humans are generally good, and that's also still my opinion that we are, but there are many distortions and humans who have gone astray and have
They have almost had the humanity sucked out of them.
or that, yes.
Yeah. So either they're going to sort of want to join the light and repent or whatever, or else there's something called a redo, you know,
Mm-hmm.
back to source, and then
Come back.
yeah as a
Yeah,
completely different entity,
yes.
because maybe the one has been so damaged that it's absolutely useless. But
Exactly.
I'm not that clever. God will take care of it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's been a year where I believe in God. There's a lot of things I don't believe in anymore, but there's also things that have given me such great faith by looking in and having the time. You know, I'm, like I said, I'm Gemini. I'm visiting someone here. I'm in this country. I'm in that country. And, you know, I had to stay home a lot, and I had to look into myself. And it was nice being alone. And yeah, I found it very good space to really reevaluate, what do I really want and where can I help most, and who do I want in my life. There are some people I have said goodbye to, and some people I don't think will ever be back. And then there's some people that have come into my life that have been fantastic. So it's also an evaluation of what energy, what vibration do you want to carry on with? Yeah. And it can even be family. I know I'm not saying I'm dropping my family members, but there are some family members that I think, well, maybe I don't have to see them that often. And others I wish I could be with more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what you surround yourself with and what who you swing with, let's say, and frequency wise. Of course, you know, there are people in your life that you love, and you meet them where they are, and also but I caught what you said about revenge, and I think, of course, when you hear about these atrocities and you're shocked, especially about what has been happening to our children all over the world. And I think that's the main issue that's probably going to shock a lot of people when all of that comes out. And it's starting to come out sort of gradually. And a lot of people, of course, that they will feel anger. They will feel this justified anger and also the helplessness and why didn't I know this and all of these things. But in the end, though, it is arriving to a point that, let's say, revenge is not going to get us anywhere, or hate, or
judgment. Or
judgment, exactly. Yeah. So that is where we are aiming at and carrying the light no matter what.
Yeah, and I was listening to Magenta Pixie, not so much now, but a year ago I listened to her a lot, and I remember she had like 3 steps, and I remember the last step was the hardest, being forgiveness.
Yes.
And I was trying to explain that to my son because, you know, don't get him anywhere near Bill Gates. That would not be a good thing, even if he's, they say he's not around anymore, but, you know, it would be absolutely not a good idea if he was. So, Oh, and another thing, I don't know if you have some friends that are healers. What I've been doing the last few years is I've been working with, this is just if someone gets inspired, I've been working with like tuning forks, right? Sound healing and forks. And like, you're an opera singer. I don't have your voice, but I use my voice in a little different way. But these tuning forks, right? I put them on, I'll put them on, I warm up crystals. I ask them, hello, crystal, do you mind if I warm you up in water? And the crystal will say yes or no. So I'll have someone lying on their stomach on my little healing bed. And then I'll put a blanket on them, a very thin one. And then I'll warm up the crystals in water and then place them, dry them off a little bit, place them around their back. And sometimes I put them under the table and make grids or whatever I'm guided to do.
Yeah.
And then I take the tuning fork and, you know, just hit that and I put it on the crystal.
Wow.
Not every single one, because there's sometimes many, many crystals on a person. And I have like a piece of flat jade. This is one of my favorites, and they just love that. And I'm just saying, all these ideas, they're also being released now.
Yes.
Plus many medical things that have been hidden for so long, and cures will be coming. And, you know, I want to be a part of this. Let's make it really, really great again. You know, let's. So I just felt like I should share that.
Absolutely. That was my next question, really, about the future, and exactly about what you're saying, that a lot of methods that have been hidden to us will come out into the light. And and we talked about this the other day, the med beds also, and all the natural healing modalities and so on.
Now the med beds, they are, I heard several times lately that there's 3 different kinds. One can grow limbs, and another one is more for your psyche, and then there's one maybe for Alzheimer's, and there's, you know, cancers and things like that. And I have in my life healed a few cancer patients, so I know by using vibrations, and I used my voice and whatever I was told. And sometimes I said, you know what, you need to go out and this is not just cancer, but I'll be told you have to drink nettle tea for 10 days. And I am not a herbologist, but when I get the message, I'll tell them, I am not a herbologist. I am not a doctor, but this is coming through for you. And also a lot of people I've met, they were getting too little very of the dark leafy greens. A lot of people are in, they're really not getting enough dark leafy greens or enough sunlight.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of go with the flow, but already the patents are leaking out.
Yeah.
They're dripping out. And if you go check, you know, and they're not, you can just create your own modality. I mean, they're not hiding it, but they're not sort of just yelling to everybody that we're opening up now. But if you do have the interest, there's a lot of patents being freed right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like when I was talking about the tuning forks, I think a lot of people are saying, hey, maybe I could combine this and this. And maybe I could do, you know, I've done cards for many years and I've painted my own. I don't even have a set because I've given them away at readings, you know, so I have pictures of them, so I'll have to make new ones. But they're symbols. They're just symbols. And I don't really know what they mean. But this one woman, she was looking at her card and she was starting to cry. She goes, I know this symbol so much, you know. And it didn't tell me anything. I wasn't connecting with it, but she did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we will be getting released a lot of really good ideas. We've been stopped in the atmosphere. We've been stopped from doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love your intuition, because exactly how connected you are to your intuition and your senses, your sixth sense or ninth sense or whatever.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and this is what all of us need to reconnect to our higher and to our inner voices and inner knowing, because we have it all inside.
Yes.
Instead of having always our looking for answers out there or following someone and you know.
Yeah.
And this is what's going to happen, I think, in the future. And I wanted to ask, what do you see in the future?
Well, it's going to be so different for so many people, because even in 2020, I was living a life where I never wore a mask and I never, you know, I couldn't teach English that one day a week I did, but otherwise my life went on pretty much as usual. And in the future, the thing that is going to go on is a lot of people will be moving themselves out of their comfort zones, and just for a little while. And then I see them moving into an even better zone. And everybody has their perspectives. There will also be people, it might take them 5 years to realign with themselves. I'm not too sure. I'm not too, with the vaccines, I'm getting like some of the batches were neutralized, but some of them weren't.
Yeah.
So there might be in the fall, we might be saying goodbye to quite a lot of people. I'm hoping that the med beds or, you know, the new might be able to do something, but this is all up to people's choice if they decide to, one, get that jab, two, if they want to try a new treatment to maybe correct that.
Yeah.
Because I was reading about a young girl that had the HVP one and was very ill from it. And her parents used 30,000 kroner or more to get her healthy again. And it took over a year.
Okay, but it was succeeded.
Yes.
But
that was not an RNA one. And they're not listed as vaccine. They're listed as operational devices. And, you know, it's not even listed as a vaccine. And they tell you to your face, they haven't experimented with animals with it.
Yeah, I know.
So you are the experiment. So if I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, I don't understand that people would be so blinded to take that. But they're on another step in their life where they don't see it.
Yeah.
They believe everything the government tells you is for your own good.
Yeah.
A lot of people here in Denmark, anyway, they, well, if the government says so, they don't want to hurt us. Oh, no. They haven't heard of a cabal.
I know, but I also think it is this a blind trust in doctors.
Yeah,
that
and
has
they make
has
a lot
been,
of money on these vaccines as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and I, of course, it's not our role to save anyone, and it's not our role to force anything upon another person. And as we know, we talked about this before. Everyone has a unique path in this life, and it might be, that path of following the government and really run into a wall with that kind of experience. And it's very difficult when you know, and we are so sure that this is a horrific thing to do. And it's a difficult thing to watch your loved ones blindly follow that path. And you can do so much. You can put out all the information or try to open their eyes, but it's
and it's important for us that think we know the truth, because there are many truths.
Of course.
But I also, like in the beginning, I was so angry at the people that would just go and get a vac. I was actually angry at them for being so stupid.
Yeah.
How could you not research something that's so experimental?
Yeah.
Just open your computer, go online. It'll tell you, like in the inserts, it says like death is a side effect.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And if you're young and healthy, or you have a reasonably good immune system, which they've been breaking down with the masks. I think it's 17% if you've been wearing a mask regularly. Especially if you go to work and have to wear one, 17% of your immune system will be destroyed.
Yeah.
And that's a good chunk,
Yeah.
But I came to, terms with myself that it is not me to judge.
No.
Like you said, it's their path. And the only thing I can do is is hold the light and be as happy as possible. I try to sing a lot. I try to, I have my grandchildren visiting, and they look at me and they hug me. And then I can see they're thinking, oops, I hugged Momo, And I said to them, but Momo does not believe in the corona. Yeah. You don't believe in the corona, Momo? No, I don't. And my daughter says, Mom, I said, well, I don't. And if I don't believe it, it's not going to bite me.
Exactly. But it's also this fear of death that is so strong, because I think a lot of people, and in Iceland as well, who can see the corruption that's going on with few people having all the money in the world, and they can see the poverty, they can see all kinds of corruptions everywhere. But as soon as it has to do with this, death and health and doctors, it's like they are just blindfolded. Suddenly there is no corruption. Suddenly the governments are doing a great job. So it is very, very interesting how much death has an impact on people. And of course, our societies don't talk about death. It's also a taboo.
Yeah, it is. As a kindergarten teacher, I had a little boy, and he lost his mother 6 days before school. And I was told he had just lost his mother, and I thought, wow. So I thought, well, he came to the right class, because I had also a son that was very ill, and I knew didn't have that much time on this earth. So we're out walking with the class in the woods, and we needed to sit down and have a juice box, and and all of a sudden one of the little kids says, the children said to, his name was Rasmus, said, hey, didn't your mother just die? And he said, yeah. And aren't you sad? He says, yeah, but we have to live for the living. He's heard that.
Wow.
So I said to him, remember, tears are God's shower, and it will cleanse you and release you. And I said, and at any time in the class, you come over to me and, just tell me if you need to go out and have a cry And so after that, every year I would have in my classroom a day where we talked about, Spot is dead. My dog died. I said, does anybody here have a family member or someone that has died? And up went the hands, and most of them had something or someone that died. And I'll tell you, the death of a dog or a guinea pig or a cat can be just as traumatic to a small child. So I let them talk about the death of this guinea pig just as much as I would if it was an aunt or an uncle or a grandfather or mother or father, because it really hurt. And my colleagues, they were amazed that I did things like that. So I think I was teaching the other teachers, hey, you know what? It's not always just arithmetic and knowing how to read and write that's important. We also did meditations in the morning, and we worked with brain gymnastics.
Wow.
The left and right. And I thought every kindergarten teacher should have a course with me.
That sounds great. I love the brain gym. I've been doing that also in my courses, and I do it myself. And it's this crossing of the left and the right is so important.
Yeah, wow. we did it to music, and it was gentle music, and all of these. You know how you say the little boys, they're bouncing off the walls sometimes? They didn't do that. But I also respected children should not be sitting on a chair for more than 15 minutes at a time at that age.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to realize that's about it,
Yeah, but at that age, it is also very important to exactly keep talking about things so that they don't close off their emotions and their sensitivity and their inner knowing. So it's all the emotions and all the silencing and the parents denying their own emotional state towards the kids is also something that needs to be more out in the open. And like I say, this how you treat death in the family and to allow the kids to participate. To watch and experience and not treat it like something that needs to be kept away and they need to be protected and so on, because they have a deep understanding. This is not their first life on earth. and so they do have all of that in. It's worse if they have to keep it all inside and feeling everything that we as adults are feeling, but not allowed to speak about it. And I think this is also a deep source or root to a child growing up not trusting their own instincts and their own feelings and energies that makes them more open to programming and brainwashing. Because it takes them away from their intuition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My youngest was 9 years old when his brother died, and we were there at the chapel, and he was singing really loud. It was so beautiful. He was singing. He has a beautiful voice, and his brother, who is nonverbal at the time, he was like making his sounds and smiling because he could see all of the beings around. He was very happy seeing all this glory, and that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
But afterwards, my son, I think I bought a white chest of drawers. And I noticed every time he saw something white, furniture, or something like that. He'd say, oh, I don't like it. It's white. And I thought, now, wait a minute. I said, listen, you do realize you don't like white things because your brother's coffin was white. I said, but he's in the arms of the angels. He doesn't have any pain anymore. I see him sometimes, and he admitted he also had seen him. So he got over this like hatred of white things, you know, white rooms or, you know, but I'm glad he told me because, you know, then I couldn't have helped him. So he was very verbal about that. And I just, and then he could get through his frustration about why he was healthy and his brother had been sick. And, you know, we had a lot of good talks because of that. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
I have to, because the story keeps coming up when my kids were also very, very sensitive and open as small children. And it was really, really beautiful to follow. And my daughter, I think she was about 3 or 4, and she was not afraid of death because, I mean, we spoke about it, or I spoke about it, and as a natural thing, and reincarnation and coming back and so on, but she started behaving a little bit. How do you say that? Dangerously, I can't remember the English word. She would just say, oh, I just can go out into the street and it doesn't matter if a car hits me because I'm going to come back. Because she was believing in the reincarnation. And then I said, well, yes, but you might not come back to me and your dad, as we might not be your parents then. Oh, then that stopped her. Then she stopped behaving carelessly and so on. But it was so beautiful to feel her trust in the universe and openness and also seeing beings and feeling that it's not bound to just a body. It's we are much, much more than that.
Yeah.
So but I know you do too. Well, sometimes I think about, because there's a great division still in the world. And so it tends to be, of course, there are gray areas, of course, but it tends to be against or with, let's say, the vaccines, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So some people say people stuck in the 3D, other people are moving up to the 5D. And some people say there are gonna be maybe 2 different worlds sort of moving simultaneously. I see a new Earth energy on Earth in a 5D frequency, and I just see it. It's so clearly that we're moving into this. What do you think? How do you see this division? How is it for you going to move on?
I have told myself that I will accept what happens. I haven't used that much energy on it. I just thought I'm going to concentrate on ascension with my soul. And I know that what is for the very best will happen for everyone. So, but I was prepared, like when I heard about it for the first time, I was prepared to say, okay, I won't be with everyone I love on this plane. But I don't know if these people are going to pass on. We were talking about some people are going to take that shot and they might not make it. So I have a feeling that I just have to let it go and see where it goes. Like today I was listening to Gene Decode, and he was talking about he's on God's timeline. That he says he's hoping he's on the timeline that says on March 4th and 5th, and we will know a whole lot more. And people will be relieved and, you know, maybe shocked and everything, but things will be in the open.
Mhm.
But that there's another timeline that says if people are not holding the line, as you say, or holding the energy up, that it might drag on till late spring.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I thought, no, I have a feeling that people are waking up, yeah, at such a speed.
Mhm.
There might just be one sentence that triggers somebody to thinking, oh, maybe they're right. You know, maybe they are right. And
Mhm.
I would
Mhm.
say just keep your energy high. Don't worry, that all this worrying is not good.
No.
So that's why the split world theory, I'm thinking I'm staying on the timeline where I will be with God.
Mhm.
No matter where or how it happens, I accept. I accept it
Yes.
as it is or will be. So
That-
that's my answer. And I know people want to know, but I don't have that answer. I just feel very
Mhm.
calm
Mhm.
that everything's going to be all right and
Mhm.
that, you know, God won and that kind of thing. And now the light is shining on your face.
Mhm.
It came like a glow from the, I guess, are you sitting by a window?
No, it's a lamp right next to me. Yeah, I see it now. Just didn't see it before. How interesting. How
Yeah, as soon
interesting.
as we were talking about this at the golden times, then you started lighting
Yes.
up.
Yeah,
So
that was beautiful, Susan. That's exactly also how I feel.
yeah,
Yeah, and yes, we just keep the vision high, and
yeah,
we follow the highest timeline
yeah,
for ourselves, and see the future being pretty bright. That's how I see it, and everybody has their own path, and
yeah.
will follow it in for their own highest good.
And I think if you're having a day where you're down, I think
Mhm.
remember some really, really good times you've had with your family, like the day your child was born, or your best Christmas, or the first
Mm.
time you fell in love and you were guy loved you back and things like that.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, I've spent a lot of my time wishing I had a soulmate.
Mm.
But I've had some wonderful partners in my life. And I'm thinking, well, I did pretty good there. You know, I learned so much from them.
Mhm.
And like I said before, one of them has passed on. Actually, two of them have passed on.
Mm.
So, you know, I was thinking if one of them that lived here on Mern, I might have even gone back to that person, but he died.
No.
So I'm not worried because you have to fill yourself up with the love and feel that love. And I feel like I'm finally getting there.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time, but I'm finally getting there.
Mhm.
And yeah, to be of service that's probably my priority now, not finding a soulmate to complete me because I am complete.
Absolutely. And I think also you felt the same as when everything started happening last year. I felt, finally, I can feel why I'm here on earth. Now I understand my service in a completely not new way, but in the way that I've been carrying with me the whole time, and
Yeah,
I was missing this link. And then finally, the puzzle is complete. Now, this kind of feeling, and it made me so happy and euphoric in a way, and
yeah,
has been ever since, because you can see now that the old is breaking up, it's crumbling,
yeah.
and what's been holding us back and tied and in chains, it's all breaking away, and now finally we can bring the new beauty, healing.
Exactly. Exactly. It's
balance, health,
yeah.
love, peace everywhere into the world. And it's such a wonderful feeling I have.
Yeah.
I know.
I picked a card before we were going to start, and just wanted to show you. It was, I enter into light.
Wow.
And these cards are beautiful. I don't often read what's, I might just read this one if I had some glasses here.
Yeah, do.
Yeah. I look so clever in my glasses, don't I? No matter what happens, I will look beyond the immediate event to what is real. In this way, I cannot help but stay positive. I know that a door will open for me. I silence the fears that make me doubt. I align with God and I move forward in confidence. I believe in life. I believe in myself, and I grow in the light.
Wow.
Exactly what we've been talking about.
Yes. What beautiful words. Beautiful
Yeah.
words. Anything else you would like to say or you feel like is on your heart?
Yeah, like we were talking about keeping positive, but I also know, like, we're listening to this explanation of the sun inside of the earth. And I know that earthing or grounding, take your shoes off. I'm not doing it yet, but I usually do it in the evenings here when the earth is nice and warmed up. But if it's possible, it would be good to just give yourself an earthing, a healing, and also give back some gratitude and healing to the earth, because our Mother Earth is going through such a birthing. I mean, knowing what's been underground, it must have been difficult.
Yeah.
Because our earth is a living being. And we should, honor that, really. So as much light as possible. And if you're in need of a pick-me-up or just stand in the sun, go for a walk in the woods, have a happy chat on the phone with someone is not going to start talking about, I have now and then there's someone I know, I can feel I'm not going to take the telephone right now because it's going to be a very heavy conversation. And if I feel like I don't have the energy for that, I respect myself and I'll say, I'm sorry, I can't talk right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So beware of your own energies, feel into that awareness of, do I have the energy for helping out right now, or should I be regeneration for myself at this moment? Because it's important, like we know, put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
Yes.
Then we can go out and be of service.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
beautiful. Thank you, Susan.
Want to know if you'd like to hear. I'm being guided right now to do a very small sound healing.
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Yes, more than okay.
And it's going to sound funny. I'm just going to tell you right now, because sometimes I'm thinking, okay, Susan, what is this? And I don't know. I just know that I feel really good. And when I do it we have some channeling evenings and meditation evenings. I also know that my friends, they actually like that. Just 2 seconds.
Go for it.
All right. Okay, now. So if you're out there, just relax and breathe. Feet firmly on the ground. Ariyo Sharia Hamaya Shamasi Hari Mudaya Madzambaya Yamadini Munyamunama Sunny and just breathe in the light. Breathe in your stars, breathe in your heart, breathe in the oneness, breathe in that love. For you are deeply loved, have always been, and will be always deeply, deeply loved. Ani. Oh, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know it's a little bit sounding strange, and I usually stand up to do it. And I usually should have had a glass of water, but the energy came through because I felt like right near the end, a great pillar of light was coming through.
Yeah, I did. I felt it too.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good because I know it can sound a little strange, and I'm always asking that only the sounds of light, the sounds of our ascension that comes through.
Absolutely.
Because I know that, you have to be careful what you're channeling.
Yeah.
Even if it's just sound, because they're very potent. Our words, we should guard them well. I know everybody uses the F word a lot. Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Not even in jest. I think maybe we should guard our words a little more. And maybe say, I love to go on the street. And if I see someone wearing some really nice glasses, I'll stop and say to the lady, those look fantastic on you. And you can see the light that goes up in faces, and people need that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that too.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I've always done that too. But I really like what you're saying about the words. And I, of course, we have to is something we shouldn't even say, or shouldn't. All these must and should and have to, and should we strike out of our vocabulary? It's a habit that comes in, but to go and look at the words, what do they mean? How are they composed together? And we find out that a lot of words are put together in a very weird way. But I also say the main thing is the energy behind the words also.
Yeah, it is true. That is true.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can say a mantra and you don't understand a word you're saying. And if you don't understand and you don't have the energy and the power behind the word, it's going to fall, like that.
Yeah.
You have to feel it in your heart, and you have to really, really know exactly what they mean.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
I mean, the word this year about all this thing that was going around that the governments were in on, I kept saying to people, we've been bamboozled.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it makes it not so bad, because bamboozled is just such a funny word.
Yeah.
And I've never heard the word shenanigans so much as this year.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a lost word, basically. And then I heard it a lot this year.
Yeah. I also learned a lot of new words this year.
Yeah.
But Susan, where can people find you? I know you are also a very gifted painter. I love your paintings. And do you have something close to you?
I'm going to show you my latest one.
Okay.
And it's about strength, and it's about guarding your temple. Okay.
Okay.
It's
All right.
called the temple tiger. It's not finished.
Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. You've
So
also done a lot with butterflies. I remember.
that's
Beautiful.
back there. Yes. A lot of
Yeah.
butterflies. It was my phase with butterflies, but it's after I've painted butterflies for a year or two, I remembered that I heard a neurologist that had a near-death experience, or he had died. And he said he sort of went to heaven. He was explaining his experience, and he says there was millions and millions of butterflies. So I found that interesting, that I had been painting them so much. And I love horses, and yeah. I think it's visionary art. I call myself a visionary consultant.
Yes, I was going to say that, ask you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually just deleted my old website. So I'm on Facebook as Susan A. Starwing. I am on MeWe as the same. I believe on Telegraph as the same. Telegram. Sorry.
Yeah.
I call it Telegraph all the time. Telegram, yeah. And I will be putting up another website. I just haven't had the opportunity because my web person lives about an hour from here. And she doesn't like driving in the snow. So it's easier to come here with my computer here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I will be putting something up, but I also have Starwinger, and that's at gmail.com.
We can put it underneath the video. Yes. And so you do, I mean, you do private consultations via Zoom, for example. So people all over the world can contact you, and you can do
those
that.
are really good, actually. I was a little bit skeptical, but they're actually easier to tune into people than just on the phone.
Yes.
But the voice is very important for me when I'm doing something on the phone, or listening to the voice. And I also get the message if I cannot help you. And that never happened before, but I knew, like, when someone, it would be difficult, and then I would say, I can help you, but it is to transition.
Yeah.
This person was dying of cancer, and I have helped people through cancer. One of them is 16 years ago now. So that showed me it's the time for miracles. But I also knew, I told her, I would like to help you get through this. And she just brightened up, and she says, I guess that's why I called, because I knew already that I would be crossing over.
Wow,
so yeah. And as we know, it's very good to cross over in a peaceful way instead of fear. Yeah. So yeah. That's
I've also sung for people who are dying.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Going to hospice and just sing a cappella for people. It's also a very humbling experience, and just the feeling the person who is moving on, and even one of them was very young, was 35 years old, and just to feel the gratitude and the connection. Many of them, my favorite experiences with giving my service. Yeah.
I held my dad's hand, and my mother said, I'm afraid of death. And I'm saying, Mom. And then I told my father, go up to your mother. He couldn't eat, to the big cold smorgasbord. And then I sang 3 of his favorite songs. And then he died. And yeah, I didn't think of, I had music when my son died. I had music with me, and some crystals and some scents and things. but I didn't sing. I didn't, but that's a very good idea. Maybe even right now you're giving someone a really good idea that if they have someone crossing over.
Yes. Yes, this is what I want to do much more in the future is exactly giving this service to people. Of course, it's inhibited at the moment, but this is one of my future visions. And also, when my children were born, I had prepared that time it was cassettes. What do you call them? Tapes. And filled them with classical music, with arias and piano concertos and everything. And it was blasting when I was giving birth. and people kept looking at what's going on in here, but this gave me such a big support. While I was going through that amazing experience. So music, sound is so important, and it's going to be one of the big modalities, healing modalities in the future. I am sure of that. All right. So it's been a beautiful conversation, and I know, and while we were speaking, I was thinking, we have to talk about this, and we have to talk about that. So I'm sure we will repeat it and talk about more things,
As we were speaking, I thought I would like to one day do something where, I don't know if you've written poetry.
No.
Okay. Because I have a couple of things I think they're quite good. And I've had other people read them and they said, this is pretty good stuff. And then the first page of my book is also very good. It's very descriptive, and it just sort of makes you go, So I have to finish that. That's what I have to do. Finally, write the book finished. And it will help people. Like, I hope this little conversation might lift somebody, give them an idea, some inspiration. Because absolutely. I know you, and you know a bit about me, and it hasn't always been easy. But we're still here. We're still standing, still smiling.
Yes.
We got this.
Actually, I've never been better. Of course, there are things that I wish for my future. I wish more contact to people, but with myself, in the company of myself, I've never been better.
Yeah.
So I feel very, very grateful for all this solitude and alone time that I have been given. So I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah.
All right, Susie.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're so welcome. And it's been a pleasure. And we keep in touch and hopefully talk soon again.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Mwah.
Love you too.
Ciao. Yeah, ciao.